Let's play Burlington's Guess That Price. Back to school means back to saving. We're bringing you kids' jeans starting at, hold on a minute, just $11.99. Burlington's acing this test. What about character backpacks? We've got them starting at $12.99. Burlington's done it again. How about sneakers for the kids? A-plus brands and right on trend starting at $11.99. Saving is now in session. Burlington, deals, brands, wow! Styles and selections vary by location.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Let's talk about how Popeye's wings now come in spicy and mild flavors, in sauced and dry rubbed. Because trust me, it's worth talking about. They're improved, optimized, enhanced, got the glow up, rizzed up, goated. That's right, I own it, the source. But I'll keep it simple for you. We just made them better. Popeye's wings, now available in better. 6-piece wings for $6.99. Love that chicken from Popeyes. At participating U.S. restaurants, price may vary, tax extra.
Hello and welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion with me, Stephen Wallace. It's York's famous Ebor Festival this week, and returning to the show for the third time this summer is young Australian trainer Henry Dwyer. Henry joins me with the latest on his flying mare Asfoora, who lines up in the Group 1 Nunthorpe Stakes over 5 furlongs on Friday the 23rd of August. Hello Henry, welcome back to the Paddock and the Pavilion. How are you and when did you get back to the UK?
Hello, Stephen. Good to be joining you again. Got back to the UK on Monday and just here for a few days. I'll enjoy a couple of days racing at York and then head home on Sunday.
So a very short visit then this time?
A fleeting visit, yeah. So all the work's done. I don't really need to be here for too long other than purely for recreational and social reasons. So busy at home as well.
You've missed the heat wave again?
Yeah, they tell me that. It's been quite warm, but nice cool conditions this week, albeit no rain, which is good. So everything's in our favour, I think.
Talking about the work that's been done, Chanel Ellis has been busy.
She has. Chanel's the number one girl over here. She looks after the horse, well, the whole time, whether I'm here or not. But she's been very busy and got the horse in tip-top order. So I think we're all systems go.
And she was here, Chanel, last year as well.
She was, yeah. She got the job done last year, and yeah, I think I would have had a mutiny on my hands if she wasn't invited back this year. So she's very much enjoying her time here, as is the horse, and as are we.
Looking back then at Goodwood, it wasn't really glorious Goodwood. How do you reflect on the King George, the Qatar Stakes over 5 furlongs?
Yeah, I was relatively bullish going into the race that we had her a lot better than we did at Ascot, and I think we did, but her chances were somewhat nullified when all that rain came the day before. So the track had improved enough that we were happy to run. I did initially think we'd be scratching, but then I realised we didn't really have another option to get her fit for York. So we sort of had to run and use that run for fitness, but knew that by the same token that we'd probably wouldn't be having the best outcome for us. But as long as she came through the run safe and sound, which she has, and she's really thrived since it served its purpose, albeit not a win.
So were O'Shean's instructions based on the good to soft ground?
No, I don't give him any instructions. I just leave it to him. But he did say before the race he thought we were really going to struggle on the ground. He galloped her on a wet track at Newmarket on the July course there one morning the week before, and was very strongly of the opinion that she didn't enjoy it. So, yeah, it wasn't just wet; it was very sticky and gluey and hard to get their legs out of, and that just made it tough to make ground for all horses. And her being back in the field, she made some ground, and her sectionals were as good as anything on the day and in the race. But just yeah, it just wasn't our day. But it served its purpose to get us to York.
7th of 11, only beaten 2 1/4 lengths. A fair performance in those conditions.
Yeah, for sure. And the same at Ascot. We didn't like her chances there just because we didn't think she was ready and she looked pretty scrubby, but she was only beaten 2 lengths there as well. So 2 lengths when things haven't gone her way, I'm hoping can translate to a win when we do get things in favour as per Friday, hopefully.
A surprise winner though in the King George with JM Jungle at 14-1.
Yeah, he's sort of one of those tough old handicappers that handled the conditions and led up and just kept on running. He was the toughest horse on the day, so full credit to him. But I dare say he'll find it a little bit tougher against these horses on top of the ground.
One thing I wanted to mention before we talk about the Nunthorpe is the pony. How important is that taking Asfoora down to the start?
It's important, and just been something we've done right through her career in Australia. It's just a matter of course. There's always three. We call them clerks of the course. Your clerks of the course are obviously very different here, but we call our outriders clerks of the courses, and there's three of them there each day on their grey horses generally in red coats, and they sort of manage the mounting or the paddock procedure and get the horses out to the barriers safely. We pre-book them just on the morning of the races. Say we need a lead out in race 6 or race 7, and they sort of escort them to the gates. And for certainly for revy horses, or horses that go very hard, if you trot out of the mounting yard and bowl to the gates, they can get going a bit and get going a bit hard, and it's just always helpful having a companion with them. And in her case, that's just being the routine. So we've tried to replicate that here. In saying that, we're not doing it at York because just the way it works at York is you come out of the parade ring there and you're on the track. There's a chute that goes a whole 1,000 meters down to the start. And if you're going slow in there, you've got horses whizzing past you both sides. So you really need to keep up with the traffic, so to speak, and canter down to the start rather than trotting down as you do with the pony. So it probably doesn't serve its purpose at York. But we will take a lead pony with her in the truck just to keep her company in the truck and at the races, and then she'll be on her own after the mounting yard.
You are listening to the Paddock and the Pavilion with Stephen Wallace. Don't forget, you can find this show along with our archive of over 300 episodes on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or on our YouTube channel. Looking forward then to the Coolmore Wootton Bassett Nunthorpe Stakes. Give it its full name. You were fourth in 2024. Do you think she is in better shape 2025?
I'd like to think so. We were pretty confident going into York last year, but just thought that the way she raced and the way she pulled up, she was a bit flat after the race. We thought maybe she'd had enough for the preparation. She'd had a big prep. She had racing in Australia. She'd been right through Haydock and Ascot and Goodwood and danced every dance, as they say. So we thought she might have been over the top, but this year she's just coming good at this time just because travel arrangements have been different and race programs have been different. So yeah, I think with the benefit of hindsight from last year, I think she definitely should be better this year and probably needs to be, probably a slightly stronger race maybe with the 2-year-olds in there. But yeah, we'll see what happens on Friday.
When is she going up to York? We're recording here on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, no, she'll just go up on race day, as is her normal routine. I think at Goodwood we went the day before, just due to traffic concerns and the rest of it. But no, we just keep things routine as happens in Australia. They just go up on the day of the race and arrive on course a couple of hours before the race and do their thing and go home.
I've got a question from one of our listeners, Martin Devlin, the author of Mill Reef, The Life and Legacy, a great racehorse. How similar is York to tracks in Australia?
York is probably the most similar to tracks in Australia. I'd say it's very much like Flemington, for example, a big flat track. A lot of your tracks I've found here, not well, obviously Goodwood is a little bit different, and then Ascot's obviously quite a gradual rise, but our tracks are mainly flat. You just go into the races here, not without a runner. Just I've been to a lot of race courses, and there's a great painting, not a painting, but a picture of the topography of each race course from side on, and it shows you the undulations of the home straight there, and they're all very different and unique here. Whereas in Australia, the race courses are probably built on flat and excavated, and the rest of it here they use probably the contours of the ground, existing ground to form the race course. So most of them aren't very similar to Australia, but certainly York is the one that would be the most similar.
Moving on then to the race itself, you've mentioned the 2-year-olds. What are your thoughts on the opponents on Friday?
Yeah, both Lady Iman and Spicy Margs, I assume they've both accepted. Haven't seen acceptances yet, but Lady Iman's obviously been very impressive. She was impressive at Goodwood. I thought her win there was full of merit. One of her wins in Ireland too. I think her second start where she beat home
True Love, I
the
think.
Coolmore horse True Love, yeah, and did it very impressively. I thought that was a good win. So look, she's the weight allowance is a big thing. I think it's 5.5 or 6 pounds, I think, which is 10 or 11 kilos. So it's a pretty amazing weight difference. So if the 2-year-olds are much good, then they're a fair chance. And then you got Spicy Marg there. It's sort of semi in the market too. So 8 stone 2 versus 9 stone 12. So that's a lot of weight. So as I said, they're going to be hard to beat.
There hasn't been a 2-year-old winner in the Nunthorpe since 2007. It still must be a difficult challenge for a 2-year-old.
Yeah, I suppose so. And when you look at it in context, they are competing against their own age before they get here. And when they're competing against their own age, I suppose how many of your overall crop of horses that are born in that year are actually racing as 2-year-olds? There might be 30% or 40% of the actual foal crop that she's competing against, whereas obviously when you're an open class sprinter, you're competing against the whole of your year level and every other year level around you. So while visually they can look impressive, the 2-year-olds, they're probably not beating much a lot of the time. But as I said, the weight advantage will be pretty key.
Certainly adds a bit of spice to the race, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and spicy margs too. So it's another element of interest. Lady Iman, I think, has drawn next to us. We might have drawn 5, and it's drawn 4. I think Knight Raider might have drawn 8 or 9 outside us, so it'll go forward. A few of the chances have drawn around us, so I think that's what you want. And watching race at York over the last few months, they seem to sort of gravitate towards that inside half of the track for the straight races. So I think we're where we need to be.
And looking at some of the other runners, Arizona Blaze, the second favourite, was second in the Commonwealth Cup behind Time for Sandals and has since won a Group 2 in Ireland.
Yeah, he's a pretty good sort of consistent horse. I thought his run in the Commonwealth Cup was very good. He got left out by himself a bit and had to do it all himself. And then last time was a good win in probably weaker grade. But you look through his form, there's a couple of blots on his copybook, but he's a really nice sprinter, and he's in the market for a reason. Yeah.
You've also got She's Quality and Knight Raider, who were second and sixth in the King George at Goodwood.
Yeah, Knight Raider seems to sort of go pretty hard and generally carve up a little bit late. She's quality seems to be improving all the time. She ran well there at Goodwood. I actually spoke to the trainer on the day and he was very keen that she'd peak for the Nunthorpe, which no doubt she will. So she'll be in the mix too. So it's a very open race as these sprints generally are, and I think we're in with a good chance, but there's probably 7 or 8 lots of connections there going there thinking they'll probably win.
So, of the 3 runs this season, this is your best chance so far of a Group 1 win. Well, it's the second Group 1 race you've been in.
Yeah, for sure. I just, yeah, we had things against us at Ascot with travel, and we had weather against us at Goodwood, and she's certainly better within herself now. So, all things are pointing towards a good run.
And after York, I see Asfoora is entered for the Flying Five at the Curragh on the 14th of September. Is that very dependent on how she runs on Friday?
Yeah, it's a nice 3-week gap, so it gives us the opportunity to go there, and that's pretty much the regression for a lot of these horses, I'd say. I dare say the 2-year-olds won't go there, although Lady Iman's trained by Gear Lyons down there, so she might end up there. But yeah, look, I think if she runs, in the first 3, we'd probably continue on. That'd be enough to show that she's going well and she wants to be there. But if she was to disappoint, then I don't think I'd bother with the whole thing, and we'd probably look to pull the pin.
And will she carry on racing next year or will she go to the breeding sheds?
Yeah, well, that's $1 million question. That'll be up to the owner of the horse, Akram El Fakri. We'll make that decision probably after Saturday, after Friday. It's really a fork in the road race for her, a fork in the road moment. Um, he's keen to race her as long as she's going well. I feel like she might be coming to the end of it, but that'll be dictated by how she goes on Friday. And if we do decide to retire her, then the decision is whether she gets served here by a stallion and goes home, or goes home and gets served, or goes through the broodmare sale. I don't know. We'll just play it as it comes.
I've got another question from Shane Meany, the former racing manager of Racing New South Wales, and he poses the question: would you ever consider running in the Everest if offered a slot?
I think we've well and truly exhausted our opportunities at 6 furlongs, 1,200 meters. It's often run on a soft track to the Everest, which makes it a harder 1,200. So I just don't think it's her race. Look, it's a lot of money and it'd be very enticing. In fairness, I probably don't think she's good enough as well. They're very good, the horses that go to the Everest, and if it was at 5 furlongs, you'd go there, but 6 furlongs probably finds her out.
Yeah, taking on Kaying Rising, that sounds hard.
Yeah, I don't fancy that task. There's not a lot of depth though in the sprinters in Australia, probably similar to here. So Carrying Rising will go around $1.50, and there's not a lot behind him. So some people are happy to go there and run fifth or sixth, and you're still getting a lot of money. But you got to remember it's a slot race, so you're generally halving the money with whoever the slot owner is. So it's not as big a carrot as it's sort of made out to be.
On Friday, then, Henry, you're looking to repeat the Australian win of 2012 by Hortensia.
Yeah, well, she was a good mare. I think Tony Noonan had her originally, and then Paul Massara might have brought her over here and campaigned her here, and she did a similar thing to us. And actually, she was one of the ones that we sort of looked at her program when she came over, which gave us a bit of inspiration to do what we did last year. I was watching the replays the other night. She got a mile off them when she won the Nunthorpe. I remember maybe Ryan Moore rode her, or I can't remember, but she would have been 15 lengths off them at the 400 and really stormed up the inside there. So. Generally, it's a race won by those on pace that keep on running. But yeah, she certainly made good ground. She was a good mare. She ran competitively over here. Yeah, she went to stud in Australia and has had a number of foals now.
Just checking the records, it was William Buick that rode
William Buick,
Hortensia
yeah.
in 2012. Yeah. We have had two Australian jockeys winning the race. Our favourite, Ron Hutchinson in 1961 and Bill Williamson in 1972.
Okay, there you go.
Well, thank you very much, Henry, for joining me again on the Paddock and the Pavilion. The very best of luck on Friday, and hopefully you'll get that Group 1 in the 2025 summer.
That'd be great. Thanks, Stephen.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Lowe's knows that no matter your paint project, saving is at the top of your list. That's why when you shop today, you can buy one, get one free select Valspar and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams one-coat coverage interior paints via rebate. Shop these deals in-store or online today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Offer valid 8/21 through 9/3.